Okay, folks, sorry about that. We didn't realise that we'd run out of film on that one, so I'm going to continue from where it left off with a message to London from Dave. There's the picture of Bowie there. Tells us about him living in London a bit. Talks about Tony Hatch quite a bit. And it's one of the largest articles he probably had in 1966, if not the largest. So he's beginning to command a little bit more space in the press. Um, so that's that one, and as I said, that's Melody Maker, February 26, 66. So moving around, and I hope you like all this David Bowie Glamour stuff all around it. Of course, we have put that out specially for you. Some signed posters here. We've got the ordinary ones unsigned up there, and then we've got the larger A2 ones up there on the right. And we've got a couple of square ones, just as sort of spares really. We thought we'd try them square, but they don't really show the full extent of the poster. But here we are, just thought we'd show you those. Okay, going back to this, so we're in March the 26th, 1966, and it's Music Echo, and Music Echo didn't really have very much of a readership at this point, so they didn't sell too many copies, so this is a particularly rare article. So it's David Bowie on the set of Ready Steady Go, and they had a design competition on the show. John Stephen was one of their first choices to judge it. John Stephen's this guy here, and he designed clothes in Carnaby Street. And David Bowie is one of the models, and he's the first boy in the pop world to wear one of John's new white summer suits. So he wore this suit, this white suit, way before John Travolta had even thought of it, because this is 1966. So, scarce article there. And then we've got this one over here, which is Record Mirror, week ending June the 24th, 1967. And this is David Bowie, the 19-year-old epistle writer. So I will read some of this to you. A couple of weeks ago, we at Record Mirror received an epistle, a very literate epistle, something more than a letter, all about a review I had written of a concert. It was sent by David Bowie, someone I hadn't actually met, but I'd heard that he was an extremely talented and very aware person. And of course I'd heard and thoroughly enjoyed his new LP. Anyway, this is the letter. Having long been used to pop critics who value an entertainment by the sensationalism oblivion to audience and the other qualities seemingly necessary as a binary form to enhance the sad musicianships of some artists, I was treated to a proverbial feat of journalistic insanity in last week's review of The Savile Show. Very articulate letter from Bowie, that. And it does go on. It's a hell of a letter, actually. He's written quite a lot there. And it was quite a thing for Record Mirror to decide to actually feature that in their music paper. And that, again, quite a sizable article, and they're getting slightly larger now. I won't read it all to you because it is quite a lengthy article, but hopefully the camera will focus in and you can probably see, well, pretty much all of it. And if you want to, you can spend a bit of time reading that one. But again, that's quite a scarce article, and quite a nice picture of David Bowie there. And it says, David Bowie, his new LP is out on Derham, all self-penned numbers. So there we are, that's that one. So hopefully you'll be able to see virtually all of that and read through it. I hope you're finding these interesting, but they are very early articles, so we're looking at very early David Bowie here. Prior to obviously his first hit, which was Space Oddity in '69, so we're up to the summer of '67 at the moment. There we go. So let's see where we are now. Okay, yeah, we've got a couple here. These are girls' magazines. I think it's Jackie magazine. I think they're both Jackie magazine. The first one here is What's in a Name. Excuse my phone going off in the background. You meet them everywhere, these Jones boys. There was once another, David Jones, but when his manager went to America last year, he sent back a cable telling him to change his name. So that's the change of name announcement in the press of David Jones to David Bowie. And then on the other one, you can see there, that's a colour advert of his miming. Now, there were quite a lot of black and white adverts of it. As far as I know, and I'm sure somebody will prove me wrong, this is the only colour advert that ever appeared of David Bowie. using that particular picture. Several groups print their faces for a gimmick, paint their faces for a gimmick, but this picture of David Bowie shows him in the traditional clown makeup by mime artists. So apparently he's a mime addict, so it says there, but that is the only colour one I've ever seen. I haven't seen another one. Moving down here, this is simply New Musical Express, October the 4th, 69, and it's Changes 69, which is just a concert really featuring Humble Pie, Love Sculpture and David Bowie, but it did happen to be on the front page, which is unusual really, having adverts again on the front page of a magazine. This page takes some explaining really. There's a July release is now a hit, so there's no mistaking the success this week of Karen Young's Nobody's Child, and it goes on through that, and it comes down to, where's the Bowie bit? Hang on a minute. Might have to move it across there, and I'll explain why that's come apart in a moment. Sorry, David waited 5 years. So Space Oddity, it talks about, ironic that the words 5 years are in the title when obviously it was nowhere near released at that point, or written at that point, and that is simply about Space Oddity, the single. But on the back of that, so on the page over, is this advert. So I will take this out. So there's that, and on the back is this. So fortunately I've got this one which has obviously been cut, and I've got an original one which isn't cut. So there we are, and he's cracked the chart barrier and he's heading upwards. Great picture actually, love the picture. So there's that one, I'll put that back in a minute. Moving over here, we've got a bit of a cover here of Bowie, but it's only a very small picture of him on Melody Maker, which is October the 11th, 1969. And again, this is where he starts hitting the press quite a lot because of Space Oddity, and he's on page 22, which is on the opposite page. I've got two of them actually by the look of it. And it's just about Space Oddity, about the release, about Beckenham, about the folk club there, the Arts Lab. And since we spoke, David has been asked to join the Humble Pie tour, which is not so surprising as David and Peter Frampton are old friends from Beckenham. I used to go to school with Peter, I haven't seen him since, and I always remember him being very little. Okay. So then we go here, and this again is Space Oddity stuff, so we've got classic publicity on moon landing inspired David Bowie's hit record. And that is Record Mirror, and that's October the 11th, 1969, again just about Space Oddity, and about his new album, which includes songs called Memory of a Free Festival, An Occasional Dream, Wild Eyed Boy from Free Cloud, and all the rest of it as we know. And again it talks about his Arts Lab as well. And then we've got October the 18th, 1969 NME, and we've got Bowie here. If you're wondering how these weird astral effects were obtained in the David Bowie hit Space Oddity, he used a stylophone. Quite a small article, that one. Okay, I think we can probably stop this one there, and we'll continue, and I'll be back in a minute with another upload.